The approval of family. Our video is all about Privately I Yearned for Your Love by Simu Liu. This article was something that he wrote way before he became famous, before he starred in Shang-Chi, a huge Marvel production. The members in our group are myself, Cameron Graves, and the others that you see listed here. We all put effort in to help you understand the greatness of Privately I Yearned for Your Love. So, a little bit of background. Simu was born in China in 1989, and his parents moved to Canada, but he stayed behind with his grandparents. And we learn this in the story, but one of the biggest things was his future. The history around this piece is fascinating because one of the big parts is not necessarily the history before it, but the history after the story that makes this piece of literature so compelling.
Okay, so just really quickly, we're going to go through a couple of the elements of literature that the author uses really well in this. And one of the first ones is going to be the theme. So basically, he kind of uses the classic theme, the grass is always greener, to help other people realize, like he did, that you don't have to fit into this normal version of a family that is conveyed in movies and TV. And it can help us relate to him and be inspired by his story, that we don't have to fit into this box to be great or to have a family that is loving and caring or good for us. And then he also uses a lot of tone changes throughout the whole story. He has a lot of subtones, so he starts off really angry at his parents. They made him feel like rejected and like he was never good enough. And then he shares how he was depressed about it, how he didn't want to disappoint them, and then he goes to being reflective again, that he says, but privately I yearn for your love and affection. And he ends grateful, saying that it's with a full heart that I want to tell you that I'm grateful for all the gifts and privileges you bestowed upon me. And tells his parents that he's proud of them. While all of this is going on, he's also keeping on an overarching tone of really being tired of this relationship with his parents. And then he also uses his own character development to push this story along a lot and to help you understand him better. It explains how he's grown and changed to see things from his parents' perspective instead of how he felt as a child, and that now he can appreciate things that his parents did for him and allowed him to transform their relationship. And he goes from having this bad relationship with them, and he takes on the role to love himself, and then eventually he can love his parents.
All the things that we've mentioned up to this point are what help make up this story. But one thing that's great about it, that makes it magical, is that it teaches principles about how we as humans can pursue life. It teaches that it's okay to change your mindset, to change your thinking, and go in a direction towards something that you think is going to be right for you. Simu Liu, he said, instead, I made the decision to forget a path I could be proud of. I promised myself I would face you when I knew what that path would be. He decided that he was going to face his parents when he knew what his path was going to be. And he was going to go for it. He was going to seek that path. And that's a wonderful lesson that he teaches us. Another reason that this piece is so magical is because it is written in the form of a letter. This helps engage people in the reading. It's more personal. It's not a 5-paragraph essay. It's not a business article. It's not a news article. It's about him. It's about his feelings. And he's writing them to his parents, not to us, but to his parents. And that makes it relatable and engaging. One of the most magical and engaging things about this piece is the difference between how his parents helped him succeed, but also how they were a hindrance. And in many ways, they were both for him. And it's kind of up to us to interpret, which one of those that was. And his parents had that impact on him, and he is where he's at today because of his parents. And whether it's through negative influence or positive influence is hard to say. And in fact, it seems that he goes back and forth throughout the entire article himself. And while his parents were a big hindrance and something that was a struggle for him, They were also a big influence on him. Look at this quote: "You are my heroes and my inspirations, and I work hard every day, not because it's what you expect of me, but because it's what you taught me to expect of myself." That's powerful. We each have the opportunity to learn and to grow, and I hope we all have been taught a similar thing like this. Our parents have that impact on us. They can shape who we are. That doesn't mean we'll do everything they want us to do, but it does mean that we take the things that they teach us and implement it into our life, just like Simu did. And going back to the struggles that Simu had, he was so scared, concerned about telling his parents that he wasn't going to be a doctor, that he considered throwing himself off of a balcony. I mean, we all face things like that. Sometimes we don't want to share things with our parents or with our bishop or with our teachers or whoever it may be. That's relatable. When we read this piece, we understand where he's coming from. We understand what he's been through. And Simu has certainly been through a lot, but we see that he makes it through all that. Now, Simu, we know that you're in this big Marvel production movie, but what I really want to talk about is a work that you actually did a while ago, but it's probably the biggest piece of work you've ever done. Probably most important. It's Privately I Yearn for Your Love, before Marvel, because that was definitely the peak of your career. What was that moment like when that piece got published?
Oh, it was a very, very emotional moment, I gotta say. Just knowing how few people ever get the privilege of doing that, that's just an extra special moment.
He's able to become a actor for a huge Marvel movie, Shang-Chi. I mean, we see the progression of him from before that story was written, how he grew up. He explains it in the story. And then at the time of the story, he's just kind of starting out in acting and pursuing what he wants to do. But in that story, we don't get the full picture. It's when you research who he is and what he's become that you see that this progression and maybe the influence of his parents has helped him to be an amazing actor, to be at the top of his field. And finally, we have some questions of review for you folks to go over in the discussion board. We hope that you're able to see and feel of the magic that this piece is for us. Privately I Yearned for Your Love is a great story that really makes an actor human. It really helps us see where he's coming from. It's super relatable, and there's so many great things about this story, and we hope you think so too. Thanks for watching. It's probably long enough.